Hi, friends. I just want to spend time with you if you're someone who's experiencing extreme states of trauma and fear. I just want to be your homie through it. I done been through it. I've been through a fuck ton. And I have a method now to get to the other side. I have a method to both regulate my system in the moment and actually clear the fears and traumas for good. You don't need to go into drug addictions. You don't need to go into alcoholism. You need to go into hiding and isolating. It sucks to do that. That's from not trying to face your fear. I know you're a brave healer. I know you can face it. And in Femme, in my coaching work, in my ceremonies and tools, I help people face it. Then they can experience the life of their dreams, because as my old road dog once said, the only thing or everything you ever wanted is on the other side of fear. And I know that's like a cliche or a common phrase, but it's true. Everything you're dreaming to do is the only reason you're not doing it is because of fear. You can put all the excuses on it. I'm not doing it because of money and time. I'm not doing it because of procrastination. I'm not doing it because I'm ADHD and I have poor focus. Be real with yourself. I'm not doing it because I'm lazy. Be real. You're not doing it because you're afraid. And that's okay. And you can be compassionate to your inner child who's just afraid. Maybe last time they did it, they got yelled at or embarrassed, or when they're really little, they got yelled at. Sometimes our ancestors got yelled at and embarrassed and we're still not doing a thing. I mean, that's crazy. We can be the ones to clear it. You can clear it in one night ceremony. I'm not saying clear everything in your whole trauma history in one night ceremony, but you can work through a lot and notice a rise, like every healing ceremony. So there's two mechanics to fear. When you're in a fear state, your body goes into what we call dysregulation, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. We can do two things. We can either regulate back to center in that moment, which is totally fine. Say we have to continue forward, we have to move on with our day. You can use tools, which I have a lot below, that get you back to center. Basically turning off your sympathetic nervous system and returning to what we call rest and digest, vagus nerve regulation. That's fine. I need to regulate all day sometimes. I'm a very sensitive nervous system, trauma history, on the spectrum. There's a lot going on that make my system a hair trigger to things. But my tools that I've built start to take the reps down from I'm dysregulated all day to I'm dysregulated for an hour to I get some rest, I do some tools, and I'm dysregulated for 15 minutes, and then I continue back on my day. That's fine. And we combine two approaches. The other approach is actually clearing the damn thing. And the way we clear the thing is, there's various therapies and modalities. The main mechanic is clearing the stress energies from the body. That's something we do in shamanic practice. And changing the narrative around the trauma in the mind. Because a lot of it is narrative based, and the narrative is very important. The brain created a story. For me, because I'm on the road right now, I'm in the mystical adventure. Last time I was on the road for a number of years. I was like a gypsy road travel kid. By the way, on the spectrum, swinging is very regulating. Oh yeah, swinging. Instant. See, I used to be someone who was scared of everything, and now I wear a crazy trippy Snuggie in public. So I was a road kid, which means I was on the road for years and years. I was with the Rainbow family in the woods. I was basically living in the woods, and we dealt with cops. We dealt with cops way too much at the time. And they would be assholes, and they would make us put our hands on the dashboard for daring to sleep somewhere on the planet. And they would harass us, and they would be completely unreasonable to our friends. And it got to where my system now responds. So this is how the mechanic works. I see a cop car, and all of those memories come flooding back. Cops are not safe. Cops are dangerous. I'm going to be humiliated, embarrassed, detained, stopped, not allowed to rest when a cop is around. That's my narrative. And so this new trip where I'm actually out here on a high vibe by myself in a vehicle that works great, everything's put together, a little less gypsy, a little more van life at this point. I get to face off with my fear of cops yesterday, and so I knew as I got on this trip that Great Spirit was going to put that in my path. Yesterday, 12 cop cars on the drive. I went from not seeing any for a while to like, okay, I know this fear is going to come up. I can feel it rising in my body. I can feel the reactiveness. I can feel the amygdala wanting to tense and put adrenaline in, the fight flight starting. And I can catch it in the moment. What I can also do is allow it to rise and then face off with it. That's what clears it. So I saw 10 cop cars, 10, 12. I kept seeing cop cars. I got to have my system rise and I could tell the story. Okay. And so I would tell my narrative out loud. I say, when I see a cop, it's very dangerous. That's what my brain is saying, right? Subconsciously. When I see a cop, it's so dangerous, they're going to harass me. And then I was able to hear that narrative, face off with it, see it, and then change it. So I speak it out. You can speak it, you can write it down. It's good to get it out somehow. And then I change the narrative and I give it real evidence, not a positive affirmation beforehand. No, nothing's going to happen. Don't worry about it. That kind of tends to tamp it down and keep this anxiety like riding right here under a false affirmation. I don't think, by the way, raw affirmations really work for PTSD folks. Like we've been gaslit already. We don't need to gaslight ourselves. It creates an unstable mental state. What we need is real evidence. So, okay, in the past, when I see cops, it created a problem. It made me humiliated. It made me embarrassed. It made me scared. So today I passed 10 cops. That's my new piece of evidence because that's what's real. Our trauma is trying to take one experience from the past and turn it into now every time this is how bad it is. That's the level our body reacts to, right? We had a car accident. Now all cars are dangerous. Cops were a trouble. Now all cops are trouble for the rest of the time. But the reality is the new narrative I installed, I passed 10 cops today and nothing happened. And that's awesome. And so what it is about reps. So more repetitions, more times I pass cops, nothing happens. More times that fear rises and I not just tamp it down or not tamp it down, but I face off with it. I allow that the experience needs to be recreated and we have a different outcome. That's the basic mechanic of trauma healing. The experience is recreated and we have a different outcome. Now, I'm not saying we need to recreate a terrible assault or an accident. No. In fact, we don't want to let the trauma linger because then it might accidentally remanifest. That's a whole other side topic. What we do want to do is bring it up again in a healing space, in a safe space, in a therapeutic setting, in a shamanic ceremony, and then look at it or share it with a safe friend or write it down and really look at it, the details of the entire experience, and then let it go and implant a new narrative. Every time I pass a cop, it is safe. I passed a cop and nothing happened. In the past, I had a car accident, but this time when I drove to the store, everything was fine. Next time when I drove to the store, everything was fine. We do reps of now everything being fine. That's like the overview. The detail of how ceremony works to get into the real clearing of these states. And by the way, we clear them in ceremony and then they rise. Then they don't diminish our everyday. Then they don't keep us in fear and keep us from our dreams. So those details I'll get into further, especially when I'm excited to do, hopefully maybe next, is an overview of the various types of psychedelic medicine ceremony for trauma and how each medicine kind of works a little differently. I can dive into an overview and then like descriptors of each medicine. For the most effective for PTSD being MDMA If you're interested to dive deeper, check out all my links below. Please give me a follow. I love you so much, brave healer, and you got this. I know you can live your highest empowerment.